Well, Rita and James, our esteemed Prime Minister seems to be struggling with the basic concept you and I and all of us deal with every single day. What does it cost to fill up your car? Have a listen.
Can you tell me what the price of petrol is roughly at the moment?
Oh, the price of, well, I don't go and fill up my car, but it was around about $1.80 last time I did.
Well, it's $2.10, $2.20 now.
Sure.
Is there anything you can do about it?
Well, that's about a global impact.
Just come on. A litre off the mark. Incredible. He doesn't fill up his own car. Didn't ScoMo get into all sorts because he doesn't hold the hose? But, you know, this is how out of touch this bloke is. I mean, you would think he would be prepared for this interview after Andrew Clennell stitched him up beautifully with a very simple question about unemployment rate,
during the election.
Rates. Do you want to stroll down memory lane?
No, we don't need to do that.
Well,
but he couldn't remember those. He couldn't remember interest rates. He can't remember, James, how many pages in the Uluru Statement.
Well, not only that, he hasn't read it. Do we have the grab of that? Because that's,
yes,
I mean, that's,
let's
have a listen to that.
Here we go.
Do you agree with most of what is said in those 25 pages?
I haven't read it.
You haven't read it?
There's 120 pages. Why would I? I know what the conclusion is.
So, I mean, this is the whole thing with Anthony Albanese since the start of the election campaign this year. It has been painfully obvious to anybody who's spent time around him that he does not do the homework. He is not across the detail. You know, oh, why would I read 120 pages? You know, why would I read the whole Uluru Statement? I'm just going to read the 439 words and go to a referendum on that. Why would I know the price of petrol? Hey, mate, I don't hold a petrol hose. I don't have to fill up C1 while everybody else is struggling. This is the theme, Rita, that is rapidly developing around his prime ministership. This is why, you know, it's not just petrol, it's also the voice. He wants to keep the whole thing down to that little block of words because that's all he can process and remember.
So simplistic, and you're so right. He's not across the detail, and we saw that during the ALP National Conference. But I don't think he knows the difference between the Army and the Navy. Let's have a listen.
Submarines will be an Australian sovereign capability commanded by the Royal Australian Army.
I'm pretty sure the subs are in the wet stuff, Albo. No, Navy, not Army, but, you know, details. If you're not even going to bother reading the statement that's underpinning your race-based referendum, why would you worry about
the racist voice? We're going to talk about that as well. But let's cut to the chase. Al Bone Idol. That's what he is. He's lazy. We've got a Prime Minister who can't be bothered with the detail at the same time that everyday Australians, they're wrestling with the detail of higher cost of living, higher electricity bills, higher petrol bills. Australians are struggling to afford the basics of daily life, and we have a Prime Minister who is so lazy he can't be bothered doing anything than waving a bit of paper around and going, everything's going to be okay if you all vote for my racist voice. This has got to stop. We've had enough of this stuff.
Well, Rowan, you know, it's worse than that, too, because his prime ministership, his government is now in real trouble because the more he focuses on the voice and Uluru, the less time he spends on cost of living, which poll after poll after poll, and his own internal polls will be telling him the same thing. The top issues that everybody in this country care about are all related to cost of living. You know, energy security, price of fuel, price of groceries, which are through the roof. And, you know, the voice, Indigenous affairs, they fall down in a 10, 12, 14th order issue for most people. And yet, where does he spend all of his energy? On the voice.